yeah, you discover you've got all sorts of problems. Yeah.
I was working on battles really with a sense of a need for approval. I think if I was to boil it down now, you start to get more vocabulary about it. It would be something like, I need every sermon that I preach to be the best sermon that anybody has ever heard.
I chose to work on my fear of rejection. And it's something that I know that impacts the way that I communicate, the way that I relate to other people around me, and for sure the way I relate to God. A fear of getting things wrong and a fear of being rejected.
People who you might think would never struggle are sat there saying, you know what, I'm struggling to overcome X, Y, or Z, and that kind of, in one sense, it normalised the reality that actually everybody's in process.
And I wasn't quite free in the way that I would want to be.
What I really appreciated was the regularity. It was something in my diary every week that was like, I am going to do this, and I'm going to see the 12 weeks through.
I've found good methods of reflection, good methods of accepting God's love and God's grace into myself to change.
And I love some of the tools that Steps gives you to be able to, when you come across things, to use them and to use them daily in terms of just becoming far more reflective.
Although they can't answer back to what you're saying, which is a good thing, there's a sense of we all spot each other's smiles and nods of recognition to what we're saying, which is sort of reassuring, and the similar stories which other people are sharing you can recognise and really identify with.
It was wonderfully reassuring that other church leaders are just as messed up as me, I think is the quick answer, and I'm sure so many others would say something really similar.
I really didn't like the idea of talking to a bunch of strangers about this. However, the sense of buy-in from everybody in the room is so thorough. It's so, everybody's in.
It definitely feels like it's like equipped me better. I feel like I'm handling it better, and so yeah, it's been highly helpful and probably more effective than I imagined.
I think there's a notable difference when I come up against a problem of how I'm handling it and dealing with it, and I think there's a noticeable difference in terms of my relationship with my husband. So I feel that has really been strengthened in the way that we deal with conflict.
You think as a pastor, I've got my relationship with God kind of wrapped up to an extent. I'm quite comfortable with some of these things, going to him for things, but I don't think I've ever repeatedly, week in, week out, reflected upon one area to see some real change. And it's been life-changing.